Is TK still out there?
Oh, no, honey. He's long gone. Just some police officers.
Help!
Oh! No, you mustn't!
Right here!
No, you mustn't do that! You mustn't!
Help!
Roger 1, issue
Right
Again here, we see Carlos put TK first. So Carlos waited until TK was long gone before he let out some screams for help. And to me, like, again, Carlos is in such a bad situation. He could very well die, and he's putting TK first. He's making sure that TK is going to be safe. And again, clearly Carlos loves TK. Now, can we talk about how that stinking police officer, you clearly heard him screaming. You clearly heard it, and you just completely, like, ignored it. Like, that was odd, but I'm just gonna leave. I mean, that was seriously poor policing right there.
Killing me won't protect your son, and it won't make him love you. And that's not your fault. I just don't think he's capable of it.
I'll bet you love your mother.
With all my heart.
That's good. That's right. A boy should love his mother. And what about TK? Do he and his mother get along?
No son loved his mother more than TK loved Gwen.
Oh. Did that sweet boy lose his mother?
Last year.
That's so sad. She won't be at the wedding.
No. I think she will be. Sometimes I feel all the love she had for him, she's sending it through me. Otherwise, I don't know where all this love comes from.
This scene here was just incredible. This was honestly my favorite scene of the entire episode. Here you see Carlos and Trudy talking about the love between a mother and a son. And I definitely can tell that Carlos was probably trying to tug a little bit at Trudy's heartstrings to let him go. But also at the same time, Carlos was definitely speaking from his heart, especially when he's talking about TK and Gwen. That line where he says, "Sometimes I feel all the love she had for him, she's sending it through me. Otherwise, I don't know where all this love came from." This line has become my favorite line of the entire show. This line was beautifully written. Mad props to the writer who wrote this line. I mean, clearly here, Carlos loves TK so much that the only way he can possibly fathom this love that he has for him is to say that it's coming from TK's late mother. That is huge. And for all the people this season who have said that Carlos really never loved TK because of his marriage to Iris or the way he treated TK in the last episode, I hope you really look at this scene and realize that that is not the case. Carlos wholeheartedly loves TK. And thank God that Trudy really felt this, because this let Trudy let him go. But unfortunately, Daryl had to come back at the same time she let him go. So let's watch what happens.
Ma? What the hell?
Holy shit. I don't think in all 4 seasons we have ever seen Carlos fight like that before. I mean, Carlos is a cop and we have really never seen him struggle to take down a suspect. Now I kind of want to see that. As long as Carlos doesn't get hurt. I don't really want to see Carlos get hurt again. Now at this point, I also thought I wanted to give a shout out to all the stunt doubles of the show. I believe IMDb said that Raphael had a stunt double in this episode, and I'm pretty sure it would be from this scene. And I'm gonna feel really stupid if it isn't, but I'm pretty sure it was this scene. I went to Disney World last year, and at Hollywood Studios, they have an Indiana Jones stunt show, which is also a must-see if you ever go there. But they talked about fight scenes and how stunt doubles tend to do those because there's a lot of complex moving parts, And actors aren't trained for this, but the stunt double is. They are able to make a fight scene like that look real without actually anyone getting hurt. So shout out to all the stunt doubles of the show. I know the actors try to do all their stunts, but some things are just too dangerous. And so shout out to them. You guys are putting yourselves sometimes in danger to film these incredible stunts and make it look super real. So shout out to you guys.
Carlos. Get off it! It's okay. It's okay. You're right, son. It's okay. Okay. It's okay.
Talk about the biggest save in TK's entire career. So after that fight between Daryl and Carlos, Trudy injected Carlos with a potentially lethal dose of morphine. And right after that, TK and Gabriel showed up, and TK has to do CPR and mouth-to-mouth on his literal heart. I think I stopped breathing during this. I was getting really nervous during this scene. Also thought this episode was super cool because there was a lot of parallels between this and other episodes, which I thought was really neat, especially in this scene. So like you remember in my one of my favorite episodes, 3-4, TK told Carlos to breathe right after TK woke up from the coma. And here you see TK literally has to breathe life back into Carlos. Also, another parallel in the scene was in the very first episode of the entire show, Owen had to save TK using Narcan. And here, TK has to save Carlos with Narcan. And even cooler is that they ended up injecting it into the same leg, which I didn't even realize until Ronan mentioned that in an interview. So that was pretty cool. And thankfully, Carlos breathed again, and the Narcan worked. It saved his life. In this episode, you really saw a lot of different sides of the characters. You saw a different side of TK, a different side of Carlos, but I also want to mention we really saw a different side of Gabriel too. So Gabriel reminds me a lot of like my dad. They don't really show emotions. They're kind of hard-headed a little bit. Here you see though, once Carlos breathes again, that Gabriel lets all his walls down and actually shows emotion, which I was really happy to see.
Hey, thank you for saving my life.
Oh, baby, you saved your own life. I was just holding on to it for a little while.
It's yours.
Right. Take him up.
Ready? Good.
He's lucky to have you.
Hey, you too.
You gonna ride with him?
Yeah, thought I would.
See you over there.
In this simple yet beautiful reunion, you really see the love between TK and Carlos. I mean, Carlos has been through so much in these 4 seasons, and the thing that always binds them together is love. They're meant to be together, and this scene where Carlos claims that his life is TK's is a beautiful, beautiful sentiment to that. I also thought it was cool because this scene also had another parallel. In 2-8, Gabriel asked Carlos if he was going to ride with his boyfriend, and here we see Gabriel ask TK if he was going to ride with his fiance. So that was a super cool parallel as well that I really liked. But man, this episode was just incredible and stressful and dark, and man, I have a couple requests for future episodes. I would really like to see a little bit of Happy Carlos now. I mean, they have been through so much in these first 4 episodes, and I think it's time we give them like a slight break. I mean, obviously it's a drama show. There needs to be drama, but I think we can let them be happy for a couple episodes, right? Can't we? I also really hope too that we don't just blow this whole thing off and that we just see Carlos okay again, because I can't imagine walking away from something like this and not having some sort of PTSD. So I really hope we see Carlos' recovery in this and how he deals with such a hard thing to go through. And I hope we get to see TK being there with him through it all. Now it's time to see how 4-4 Abandoned ranked in my top 5 favorite Lone Star episodes. So last week, here was my top 5. In number 1, we have 3-4 Push. Number 2, we have 212 The Big Heat. Number 3, we have 3-8 In the Likely Event of an Emergency. And number 4, we have 2-9 Saving Grace. And in number 5, we have 4-2 The New Hot Mess. Now, after this week's episode, here is how it placed. As you can see, I have decided that 4-4 placed in second place in my top 5 favorite Lone Star episodes. Now, I'm pretty sure some people are going to be a little bit angry with me that I didn't place this in number 1, so just hear me out on my explanation. So I knew that this beat 212. 212 and 4-4 were very similar. They were very, very dark episodes that left you hanging on the edge of your seat. Now, the reason why I thought 4-4 did a little bit better was because I was shaking like crazy. I was so scared. I mean, I didn't sleep for days. 212, I wasn't shaking. I didn't sleep. It still left me on that edge of my seat, and I was like shocked with everything that happened. But 4-4 definitely brought out more emotion and more fear in me, and that's why I thought 4-4 was better than 212. Now, here's why it didn't beat 3-4 as my favorite. Now, last week I mentioned the 2 things that I felt like needs to happen in order to make an episode amazing. One is that you gotta feel empathy for these characters, and you gotta be in love with them. And I already said that that is the case. I already love these characters. Number 2 was the acting. Now, for me, the acting was incredible in 4-4. I mean, Raphael and Ronan nailed it to a T. You felt every emotion possible. But I can also say that 3-4, the acting was just as incredible. I mean, I cried almost that entire episode. So how could I pick? So this is how I picked why 4-4 ended up in second. Unfortunately, this season, I haven't really enjoyed Owen's storyline. I mean, we see it from him time and time again. It's just a pattern for Owen, and I'm ready to see a little bit more character development from him because I'm kind of getting bored with the same old Owen. So that is why 4-4 ended up in second, because in 3-4, I loved every scene in that episode, while 4-4, I didn't really care for the Owen scenes. It kind of took away from everything that was going on between Carlos and TK. In addition, 4-4 was just extremely dark, while 3-4 was kind of like 50% dark, but 50% light. Like, it had, you know, the dark, sadness, worry, but it also had, 3-4 had a lot of happiness, and I kind of like a mix between them two. I don't like an episode always one-sided. I like that it had that beautiful mix. So in the end, that is why I decided to place 4-4 in second place. I'm very curious to know how you guys would place 4-4 in your top 5. So let me know what you think. So again, I just want to say thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And let me know in the comments what you thought of this episode. It was a crazy episode, and I'm curious to know what you thought.